This is going to be 5 popular books I DNF'd. Now that means absolutely nothing, and I'm sure that you've heard about these books, you probably read some of them and you love them. Now I just want to share with you the reason why I DNF'd them. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time telling you about synopsis because I'm sure you do know all of these books. I'm just going to tell you why I ended up DNFing them. Now the first one is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Now I'm looking forward to her new release because I don't think it has anything to do with her writing style. It's just some of the stories are not for me. Like Rock, Paper, Scissors. The only one reason I DNF'd that book was because I couldn't take the bickering between the husband and the wife. They're trying to save their marriage, so they're going to this one retreat when there's a storm that leaves them stranded. And even though I do love the atmosphere and everything, just having them bicker constantly, and these letters that she's writing, I believe she's writing these letters, is just so much complaining, and it's like, maybe you do need a divorce. Maybe you do need to move on to different things in life, because there's no way that you can live your life bickering the way that these two people bickered all the way to whatever they were going. And it was just so immature, the kind of arguments they were having, this constant bickering about nonsensical stuff. Maybe in the more into the book we will see what kind of problems they really do have, but I just could not stand the bickering. The second one is also an Alice Feeney, and again I'm hoping to go back maybe to Daisy Darker, which is my next title. I know it's super popular, everyone recommends it, but I made the mistake to do the audiobook, and English being my second language, when there's a very strong accent, like either, and I'm listening to a book that it's probably an Irish narrator right now, and I'm still struggling, but I'm trying to make my ear get used to this kind of accent, so it's kind of second nature. But when I tried to listen to Daisy Darker, I just could not do it. I wasn't invested in the introduction of the characters. I thought that they were insufferable, and I just didn't care for them, which I think it has more to do with the narration more than the actual book itself, so I'm willing to give it a second chance, but that was the reason why I DNF'd it. One of the books that I was really excited to read was The Last One by Will Dean. Now this is the same thing. I tried to do the audiobook and I just could not get into the story. This is a story of a woman that's going in a cruise, I believe, and eventually she wakes up the next morning and the cruise ship is completely empty and she's the only one there. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, but I'm telling you, every time I try to read it, I just get bored and I cannot get into the story. So for that reason, I DNF'd it. The next one is the book The Trap by Catherine Ryan Howard. I was really excited about this book, and actually the introduction of the book, or the opening of the book, sounded very, very interesting. However, as I was trying to understand who she was and what she was doing and why she got into this car, why doesn't she have a phone, why is she leaving this nightclub and she's a little tipsy, and now she's going with the experience that she has, and again I'm not going to go into the book itself, but why is she doing all that? I felt like the first scene was so long and it was not what I expect. Usually when there's something bad that is about to happen, like if there's a serial murder kind of story or something, like the most intriguing part of the book is what really happened at that moment, and it feels like that's what's happening in the book. But I just was put off and I got bored and I just couldn't pass them. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 chapter, and I had to DNF it. I hope to go back to it in the future, but I'm not in any rush to get back to it. Another popular book that everyone keeps recommending to me, and there's kind of a theme over here if you start thinking about it. Rock, Paper, Scissors happened in the middle of the winter during a winter storm. The Last One by Will Dean, I think it's also during the winter, but I'm not 100% sure. And then The Haunting, or A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cooke. I thought I was gonna love that book, and I just cannot get into it. I cannot pass the second chapter. There's something that is turning me off from this book, and it has all the wonderful feelings of what a good book or what a good mystery thriller book would be if I just can pass the first few chapters. Now, I am reading another book by C.J. Cooke, and I have to say that I like the writing and I'm enjoying it very much, but for whatever reason I cannot get into the hunting or a hunting in the Arctic. So those are just 5 recommendations that I keep getting all the time, every time I tell somebody the kind of book that I like. However, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna like every single one of them. It just means that there are gonna be different things that are gonna pique my interest. In having an ADHD, there are only certain things that will keep me entertained in the book, and unfortunately none of these are doing that for me. So let me know if there's any popular book that you would DNF, and I would love to know why. If you read any of this book and you love them, I'm super happy for you, but this is what I recently DNF'd.